Hi, I'm MJ. Welcome to a little presentation here on a new direction for Library Forum. For those of you who don't know, I work here in the library as a librarian on the Learning and Curriculum Support team. I also teach a course out of the marketing department. But I'm here doing this presentation because I have recently received the position of chair of Library Forum, and I received it because I was the only applicant, but let's just keep that between us. Anyway, this presentation I delivered yesterday at Library Forum Live, but since a lot of people couldn't make the meeting, I thought it might be good to do a quick summary for those who might be interested in where we plan to go. So let's get started. I think first of all, it's worth acknowledging that we've gone through some significant organizational change in the last year and a half, and some of that change has been really great. We've reorganized and realigned ourselves according to some new priorities, but there's certainly been a bit of a void, at least in one area, and that is the area of internal communication. We haven't had, for a while anyway, a place where we can talk, where we can share ideas. And this has had the unfortunate effect of people just wondering. There's a lot of questions about what's going on in the library, what's going on, what does this team do or that team do, and when do I have to get an idea approved by this cross-functional team, or does it have to go to LMT, and just confusion around process. And so Library Forum is one attempt to provide a place where we might talk to each other. And so I thought let's just go through a quick overview of where we're headed. By way of introduction, let's start with the mandate for this forum. And so the mandate for the Library Forum is an information sharing and community building group open to all library staff. And when I look at this, I think this is great. We're about learning about what's happening here and what's going on here. We're about learning from other people, so building some community about the people who work here and with the people who work here. And our invitation here is open to all library staff. So we're being inclusive. We want everyone to be and have the opportunity to participate. What's not to like? This is great. Every library would like this, and every organization should love this. The problem, though, of course, with a mandate is a mandate's not really a map. So we know what we want to do here in the mandate, but we don't really know how we want to get there. And so let me give you a short overview. The organizational development team and I have been passing ideas around, thinking about this, and here's what we've come up with. So I think the simplest thing to do here is I want to give you 3 images as mental hooks for what the future of Library Forum might be. So we've got a diamond ring, a beaker, and a stopwatch. We'll take them one at a time. First, the diamond ring. Of course, the diamond ring symbolizes engagement. Not here in the romantic sense for our purposes, but engagement in the sense of active participation. One of our goals is, if we want to have a communication forum, that people actually want to participate and want to contribute their ideas. And so how we might do this, a couple of strategies. First, one strategy is we want to structure Library Forum meetings around the idea of a question. A question just begs for answers. It begs for discussion. It begs for conversation. And so we think this will stimulate a little bit more if we pose our Library Forum meetings as questions, such as the one we did yesterday, which was, what do we want in our next CIO and Chief Librarian? The other way we plan to do this is to, if this is the place, if Library Forum is the place where all people are invited from any team, then it is also the place where you can gauge the pulse of the organization. You can get a chance to float an idea by them, see what they might think. So it's a perfect opportunity to engage anyone who wants in a question and potentially get some really useful feedback for your team or your project or whatever you're working on. So the diamond ring is engagement. Let's move to the beaker. The beaker symbolizes experimentation. And I think one of the things we have to be willing to do in Library Forum is to try new methods, try new ways of communicating, of working together, of facilitating groups. And so the way we see it working is we want to spend a little bit of time having people come and present ideas on the early stage of development, so that Library Forum becomes a place where we kick around ideas right off the top, where we generate ideas, we solve problems perhaps, or find some solutions. That it is the early stage where we engage people. It is not the stage where someone comes to present a report that's already been finished and people have no feedback on. And I think so it's really key that we engage people early. And we also recognize that when you say you want to experiment, sometimes experiments don't work out how you wanted, and that failure may in fact be a part of what we're doing. And so we sort of have adopted, or I like the motto of, you fail frequently to succeed sooner. So we'll try stuff. It may not work exactly how we wanted, based on feedback, based on our own observation. We'll adjust for the next time and learn how to do things better. But the key is that every meeting isn't the same, that there's a chance and different methods of getting the most out of the attendees. So the beaker stands for experimentation. And the last image I wanted to kind of center this talk around is the stopwatch. So the stopwatch stands for efficiency, but not in the sense of keeping literal time, more in the sense of respecting your time, so that we know that if you choose to come to Library Forum, that's 90 minutes or 60 minutes of your day where you're choosing not to do something else, and that you'll have to get that other stuff done, answer those emails, do whatever at another time. So we need to make the meeting worth your time to come to. And we think there's a number of ways we might do this. One would be to funnel all of these library-wide invitations that we've seen in the past few months, things like the Library Innovation Fund, Strategic Planning Group, Primo Central discussions, ebooks, these internal signage committee, that if we have Library Forum up and running and we're working as a well-oiled machine, then we become the first place where people think, hey, I want to get perspective from the library. Why don't I just use the Library Forum? Instead of every group trying to figure out the best way to reach all library staff and sending out too many emails regarding invitations and people trying to get their schedule straight and feeling overloaded, that we can just run this through a streamlined process and funnel all of those requests through Library Forum, so that we build an expectation that Library Forum is about feedback and it's an efficient use of staff time. The other real advantage is that the organizational development team is structured in such a way to support your use of the Library Forum. So I view my role not so much as chair, but more as a facilitator of what might happen during that 60 or 90-minute meeting, that we really work together to build an efficient use of time, and that you get something out of it as well. So just a quick couple of points on roles. I see that if you want to come to Library Forum, you might be an ambassador for your team or for a particular project, and so you're going to come and share a little bit about that project. But then you're going to work with me and the organizational development team, so me as facilitator, to figure out how we can best do that. And the organizational development team, the other members, will be co-facilitators if necessary during the session, but may also act as a resource team to help us build agendas, to help us really get a sense of what people want to talk about. And I think this sort of partnership means it's not, Library Forum doesn't become just MJ's show or the organizational development team show. It becomes our show as we work with people to help them get the most out of their time. So the stopwatch was for efficiency. Now I fully recognize that this short talk doesn't address every major concern that people might have about this forum and how it might go, but in particular things like, what about when I just want to do a report on something my team has done, or a report we've written? Can I do that when it doesn't seem so interactive? And I would say certainly we have to have room for information sharing type agenda items, but I think ultimately what we want to do is figure out how to tweak those so that people really get engaged and interested in the material, and it doesn't become just a PowerPoint presentation with no discussion because all the decisions have already been made. And so I think ultimately we want this to be a place that we know we're going to grow together. One of the reasons that I even agreed to lead this group is I actually really think this is the best chance we have at building the library we want. and that it's the place where conversations can start and culture can really start to change. Obviously, as we go forward, we're really interested in hearing your comments, and so you can contact any member of the organizational development team. You can email me directly. You can drop by. We can have coffee. We can do whatever, and we'd be really interested in talking with you if you want to get on the agenda. I'm happy to work with anyone in the library who has something that you believe has a library-wide appeal. And so with that, I'll wrap it up and just encourage you to come out to the next library forum and join the conversation.